Imagine walking into your neighborhood Walmart, and something feels off. The shelves look thinner. The beef you bought for $9 last week is now pushing $14. Cereal's up $2. And that blue and yellow banner, everyday low price, it's gone. Quietly. Like it was never there. But the real shock hasn't hit you yet. Because what looks like inflation isn't. This isn't just some supply chain hiccup or global unrest. It's something closer to home, more deliberate. A policy signed in the Rose Garden just months ago is now ripping through the country's biggest retailer. 10 distribution centers shut down. Over 50,000 workers suspended, many with no warning. The company that promised low prices always. It's bleeding, quietly, and no one in power is stepping in. You weren't supposed to feel this, but now your groceries, your job, even your paycheck, they're caught in the middle of a trade war you never voted for. So how did we get here? Let's rewind to the moment everything changed. It began with a flourish of pens in the Rose Garden. Cameras rolled. Applause followed. But behind that moment, on April 2nd, 2025, Executive Order 14257 quietly detonated the foundation of America's retail economy. Dubbed the Liberation Day Tariffs, the order slapped a blanket 10% duty on most imports and a crushing 145% tariff on goods from China. Within hours, container manifests were being torn up. Factories scrambled to reroute. And somewhere in southern China, at the Hunar toy factory, production lines simply stopped. The owner, a Walmart supplier for over 40 years, told Reuters, "We had to cut output by 70% in less than 3 days. Orders just vanished." And it didn't stop there. Europe threatened retaliation. South Korea warned of a collapse in Hyundai exports. The ripple was global, but it hit home fast because Walmart, the largest importer of goods in the U.S., suddenly had no supply. Every incoming shipment became a cost hazard. Every delay, a margin killer. The so-called protection, it made the system too expensive to function. As one analyst put it, this wasn't economic defense, it was economic whiplash. And Walmart was the first to crash. But the real fallout, the one that emptied aisles and erased jobs, hadn't even begun yet. The warning signs came fast, but not from headlines. They came from the silence inside Walmart's busiest warehouses, from trucks that never rolled out, from freezer doors taped shut. By May, Walmart had absorbed a $25 billion loss, the largest quarterly hit in its history. But instead of public outrage, there was confusion. Until someone leaked the truth. An internal memo titled Project Triage outlined a drastic response. 10 massive distribution centers across the U.S., from Riverside, California to Brooksville, Florida, would hibernate for the next 6 weeks. That meant lights off, pallets stacked, and workers sent home. Not fired, not laid off, just suspended. 50,000 of them. Most on temporary contracts, many living paycheck to paycheck. Cities like Groveport and Elwood went into panic mode. In some towns, Walmart was the single largest private employer. A viral boycott campaign exploded online. City councils held emergency meetings. Even lawmakers from both parties began asking, how did a single policy collapse the backbone of U.S. retail? But Walmart's losses weren't confined to its own walls. Because when a warehouse shuts down, the trucks, the suppliers, the corner stores nearby, they all go dark too. And that's where the damage truly began. Walmart was built on rhythm. Every shipment timed to the hour. Every shelf restocked just in time. No excess. No delay. No waste. But in the months after the tariffs hit, that rhythm cracked and then collapsed. Container rates from Asia spiked nearly 85%, according to Bloomberg. Warehouse rents surged 60% in a single quarter, and trucks that once ran full loops began waiting, idle, for shipments stuck at sea. In some locations, Walmart stores reported going 6 hours or more without restocking key items. 6 hours. In retail, that's an eternity. The just-in-time model didn't just slow down. It stopped working. FedEx slashed its annual forecast. UPS shuttered 73 facilities. Even Flex, the Airbnb of warehousing, reported wait lists for bonded space. A system never designed to pause. What once looked like a miracle of modern logistics had become a machine too lean to absorb a shock. And as one port manager told CNN, "You can't run a clock without gears. That clock, the one Walmart ran for 30 years, is still ticking. But it's offbeat now. And the company's next move, it wouldn't be global. It would be something no one expected." Walmart knew it couldn't survive the old way, so it tore up the map. In a bold pivot, the company announced Project Reset, a $350 billion plan to bring supply chains closer to home. Factories would move to Arkansas, Ohio, and South Carolina. Production would shift from China to Vietnam and India, and a $520 million robotics upgrade would automate 400 U.S. fulfillment centers. It sounded like a comeback story, but there's a catch. Every move depends on stability, and the tariff war offers none. Contracts signed with Vietnamese factories were shredded weeks later when the U.S. floated new anti-dumping rules. A single tweet about tariffs sent Walmart's stock tumbling, erasing $37 billion in market value. Even the AI system Walmart built to outsmart the chaos, Nexus AI, can't forecast political volatility. And Wall Street is watching, nervously. One analyst warned, "This is like rebuilding a plane mid-flight while the storm is still raging." For now, Project Reset is both a survival strategy and a gamble. Because if tariffs shift again, if the trade war deepens, Walmart could find itself caught between two unfinished worlds. The global one it left behind, and the domestic one not ready to catch it. And that leads to a question no retailer wants to answer. There were no press conferences, no breaking news banners, no alarms. Just the slow erosion of something most Americans thought was unshakable. A grocery store aisle, a paycheck arriving on Friday, the quiet confidence that whatever came in would be there again next week. And yet, one policy, one tariff, one shift in strategy was all it took to reveal just how brittle that confidence really was. This wasn't a collapse you could see. It didn't scream. It whispered, through empty shelves, missed hours, suspended routes. Walmart's story wasn't just about retail. It was a mirror, reflecting the fragility of systems we assume are stable. And maybe that's the hardest truth of all. That what broke wasn't the supply chain. It was the illusion that someone, somewhere, was still in control. So the question isn't just about who signed the order or who paid the price. The question is, when the next silence comes, will we even know it's happening, or will it feel, just like now, like nothing at all?